Hey, welcome back everyone to today's recap. So, to those of you all who don't know, I recently played in the 15th Colombo International Chess Festival, which was a 10-round classical event. It was a pretty fun experience, and I even met some of my viewers there and actually played one of them. More on that later. But I mean, it was just so nice to see you guys there and interact with you all. Really makes my day as a chess YouTuber because it's such a pleasant experience. So back to the recap. My first round opponent actually did not show up, which resulted in me just winning the game by default. So in this recap, we will be looking at my second round game. So my second round opponent was none other than a fascinating young man by the name of Senmal 𝐫𝐞𝐜𝐚𝐻, who was only 9 years old and he still did not have a FIDE rating. So before the game, when I saw the pairings, I was like, oh wow, he's 9 years old. And I confided this in a very close friend of mine, and he was like, you better not lose to a 9-year-old. And I was like, okay. So going into this game, I had a small bit of pressure. Anyways, he opened with d4, I went e6, c4, and we are in a Dutch defense. Knight c3, knight f6, and this is just standard theory. This is my opening prep. Queen c2, b6, aiming to fianchetto my light square bishop, bishop f4, bishop b7, e3, knight e4, just putting a little bit of pressure on his c3 knight, bishop d3, and here I castled, and this was his first inaccuracy, but he played a3. And now what this move does is, it literally forces me to capture, but a better move was actually just to castle, because here he's just wasting a move, and yeah, this is just a very unnecessary move in this sort of position. Anyways, d6, here he castles, and now the engine is like, just play g5, just go g5. Crazy. I mean, I was considering it. I mean, g5 is actually a sort of move you would play in these kinds of positions. I would have done it instantly in a blitz game. But here I was like, you know what? I'll go knight d7. g5 was actually the best move. Rook c1. And this move, I mean, I'm not sure what it does. Why would you move your rook behind these? I mean, there are two pawns here, they're double pawns. What's this rook going to do? Shouldn't you move a rook on like an open file? Like rook b1, I could understand that move would make sense, but rook c1, what are you hoping to do with your rook here? That move just didn't make sense to me. And I was playing, I was like, what is this move? And I played queen e8, aiming to go queen h5. That was on my radar. Queen h5 was an intention of mine. h3. And here, this is where I made my first mistake. I was like, okay, so I want to play aggressively here. And I want to cause problems for his king side. I want to exploit the fact that he played h3. And I was like, what if I go g5 here? Say, for example, g5, knight takes g5, knight takes g5, bishop takes g5, and then queen g6. Then I'm threatening checkmate, aren't I? And once he moves his knight back, maybe, then bishop takes and I just win a piece. Or if he plays h4, I play h6 and I still win a piece. But oh dear, was I wrong. Because after I played g5, he took. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Turns out I was wrong. Queen g6, I missed a very simple tactic which anyone would see. I don't know how I would miss this. Because he played f4 and the queen's protecting g2, and even if I play h6, he goes knight f3. And I was like, oh dear, I messed up. I realized over here, after f4, I messed up. I gave him a free pawn for almost no reason whatsoever. I was like, oh shit, how did I miss this? Like a total brain fade. I had no reason to not spot this? This is just such an obvious thing. I don't know, was it the pressure? Was it the fact that I was playing my first OTB game in like quite a few months? Either way, it's just inexcusable to make such an such a mistake at this level. I mean, I'm only 1500, but still, it's rather inexcusable. I was like, okay, you know what? Calm down. You made a mistake. Focus. This game's not over yet. You still have more experience. I'm more experienced than he is. I'm still going to play for a win. I was like, okay, calm down. Just play the best moves. Play as accurately as I can. Played h6. Knight f3. Okay, what do? I'm just going to pretend like this was all part of my plan and try to attack him as aggressively as I can. King h8, threatening to play rook g8. Rook c. Okay, oh, queen f2. My bad. Rook g8. Piling up pressure. Just trying to play as aggressively as I can here. But now over here, he makes an inaccuracy and gives me the advantage right back. d5. I suppose he just wanted to... he probably thought I'll play takes, and then he can just play knight h4, attack my queen, and double attack this pawn at the same time. But thing is, it's not that simple. I suppose he got overexcited, because now I have this pawn's absent. It was guarding the c5 square. I have knight c5 here, attacking his bishop. He plays bishop c2, and I was like, okay, I'll take this pawn. Takes. Bishop takes d5, and I've already regained my lost pawn. And now he plays g4, and I was like, okay, this has to be another inaccuracy or mistake, because you just cannot play like this. You can't open your king's side up like this, because my rook and my queen are both staring at your weak king. This has to be at least an inaccuracy, and turns out I was right. So I was like, okay, what do I do here? I obviously can't take, because his bishop's staring at my queen. So I was like, okay, I'll just sidestep the pin and play queen h5, which turns out to be another mistake. True, he can't take me, and my rook is staring at his king, but here he has queen h4, forcing an exchange. And why is this good for him? Turns out, if we exchange queens and say I take back, I miss this in the game. He can play knight g6 check here. And here he is actually not so bad. He's alright here. Knight e7. This is an okay position for white. I missed this. I should not have played queen h5. That was in fact a mistake. I blundered my advantage. What I should have played instead was just go knight e4. Knight e4, and he'll probably takes, and the game continues, because after g5 I still maintain my advantage. Rook g7, can double the rooks. That's how I should have played. Instead I played queen h5, and here he blunders terribly. So I played this move, and I immediately just stood up and went to the restroom. And once I got back, he had blundered terribly. He played bishop takes f5. I don't know why, but he completely forgot that this is a pin, that this is a thing. I can just take this and I'm up a clean piece. Once he saw this, he offered me a draw, which obviously I declined for obvious reasons. Queen h4, queen h7, knight d4, rook e8, and here I just had to play calm, confident chess and not do anything stupid. Just play calmly. I'm up a clean piece. c4, bishop b7, queen f6. This is just simple stuff. Just trying to not get checkmated, play sensibly, try to force exchanges as much as I can. And sure enough, knight f5 check. A bit tricky here. King h2, bishop c8, trying to force the exchanges. Knight g3. I took this pawn, knight h5, and here actually you have to be a bit careful, because knight f6 check is a thing. So I played knight e4, just stopping that cold. Rook c e1, and we traded. Bishop b7, f5, rook e8. He was just desperately trying to counterplay with his pawn majority. h4, rook e5, just trying to stop everything cold. f6, king g8, aiming to push my king to f7, king f7, knight g7, and here I spent quite a while. I was like, I had less than 5 minutes at this point, and I played bishop c8. Because if I didn't play bishop c8, I can't play knight takes f6 because he just has knight h5. So, okay, bishop c8 was played, and the idea here is he has to protect his g4 pawn, which he did. He played king h3, and now I can take, because if he goes knight h5, for example, I can just take the knight. He can't take back because his pawn's pinned. Alright, so he played knight f5, takes, rook e3 check, and this is just simple cleanup here. I just took all his pawns and eventually just promoted my pawn little by little by little. He sacked his rook, I don't know, maybe aiming for like stalemate tricks or something. I took back, gave this check, and that's mate. Good game. A bit chaotic with me missing g5. I don't know, that was very unacceptable, but after that I think I fought well, and yeah, was a good game. Was very happy to win that actually, especially after that g5 fiasco. Okay, so I'll catch you all in the next round recap. Hope you enjoy this video. Catch you all later.